Here,
Gimmighoul, give me status, let me feel alive. New Contramerc City's humming, pulling on the vibe. Dope vibes floating in the air tonight. Podcast running till the morning light. Memories on loop, they replay and bend.
99.9 Gimmighoul Radio, hottest FM radio in New Contramerc City.
Welcome to Gimmighoul Radio. Again, it's Unseelie King with Makeyourself 28.
What's up, everybody? Glad to be here. Yeah, listen, we're not going to fool around. We're going to hit the ground running. We have a lot of good stuff to cover, including the Switch 2 just announced. Shadow dropped, in fact. That's interesting. I think we should go over that and talk about what that means. We also have a brand new live here in the studio. We have Professor Gray, one of our brand new Pokemon professors. He's an awesome guy. Can't wait for you guys to listen to his segment today. And then last but not least, something we really want to touch on. Let's talk about social media and the Pokemon community. Is it bad? Is there a problem going on? Let's discuss about it. So let's go, Unseelie. I'm ready to hit the ground running. Switch 2, baby. Tell me about it. Shadow drop. Were we expecting a shadow drop for that? Because I was not thinking a shadow drop was in the cards. But Nintendo says, you know what? They already know about it. Let's just hit them.
I think that's exactly what it was. There were rumblings on social media that said we were going to get an announcement on Thursday, yesterday.
Yep.
And sure enough, we got an announcement on Thursday. What people weren't expecting, though, were the fact that they didn't announce it. It wasn't the Nintendo Direct. It just, boom, YouTube, Switch 2. Here you go. I think a lot of people were excited. I was excited when the video started, and I got less excited as the video went on.
But let me ask you, why were you less excited by the time the 20-second video, or however long it was over? I mean, from my opinion, listen, the color scheme, you know what it reminded me of? The Steam Deck. That matte
That is
black
exactly.
with a
That is
little
exactly.
bit of, yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought that. Okay, continue.
So I was at work, and I was sitting at my desk. A notification pops up on my phone and says, hey, Nintendo new video, Switch 2. Shit, okay, gotta watch this. So I watched it, and as I'm watching, I'm like, okay, this is cool, I like it, I like the sleek, I like the modern design. We're going off of like a lot of the other handheld devices that are out there. Then it started to hit me, the fact that the Switch 2 looks a lot like the Switch, except bigger. And now I'm wondering, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, we had a lot of rumors going around about this thing called the Switch Pro. Or the Switch, Extra or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they had the upgraded version of the Nintendo Switch. And then the cynical part of me, the pessimist, as I am.
The glass half empty, as some of you would say.
Exactly. Started to realize something. Well, they're not releasing the specs with this. Why are we not releasing the specs with this? Okay, bigger screen, not an OLED. I'm going to state that right here. Not an OLED screen. That's already a downgrade from what a lot of us already have. Okay, rational side of me said, maybe that's to keep the price point lower. But does a screen really, whatever. We can talk about that once we start getting actual spec details. But I guess, like I said, the cynical part of me looked at it and said, this is what the Switch Pro was supposed to be. So did they go back to the drawing board? We're like, people aren't going to like a Switch Pro. We'll upgrade a few things. Boom, Switch 2.
So you're telling me that you're looking at this console, and instead of slapping a Switch 2, they should have just slapped a Switch Pro on it and called it a day. You know how
honest
the community would have been?
Why? You're getting the same thing. Why would you be upset if you're getting the same thing? You're getting extra. Like, look at the PlayStation 5 Pro. It has better power.
It though?
It has enhanced graphics, and you have enhanced versions of games that can run optimally better on it. So why would you be upset by getting the same treatment, which you essentially are getting with the Switch 2? And my argument with why I think this was the Switch, was that this was a, I guess, quote unquote, the 0.5 version of Nintendo's consoles, is because they've done this before. We've seen it with the 3DS and the new 3DS. We've seen it with the Nintendo Wii and the Wii U. Both of those 4 systems, the 3DS and the new 3DS, were pretty much the same thing, except for it had a little bit of extra details to it. It had more power, it had better graphics, and certain games only ran on the new 3DS. Okay.
Would you consider those actual console different installments instead of just? I mean, to your point.
Me personally, no.
Okay.
But they were marketed as such. Would you consider the PlayStation 5 Pro a new console?
I mean, you couldn't call it a PlayStation 6. I think you would upset a lot of the Sony fanboys, including myself. I mean, and as far as an upgrade for the PlayStation 5 as it is it even worth upgrading to a PlayStation 5? Okay, this is a perfect argument. Is the PlayStation 5 Pro worth upgrading to? No, not in the slightest. Not in my opinion. Right?
Not for the price point.
But you can argue, is this the Switch 2 worth upgrading to the Switch 2 for? I think, yeah. So that to me is better than a Pro enhanced version.
Well, there's going to be diehard PlayStation fans that will argue with you that saying, yes, upgrading to the PlayStation 5 Pro is necessary.
I think that's a bit of a hot take.
Would I personally do it? No. It's really dependent on game releases. So if they treat it as though it is a new console, that means certain games, and I'm going to use Gen 10 as a example. Say this console comes out, May, June, July. Everybody's thinking a summer release. If it comes out, May, June, July, and then we get, Legends VA we know will probably end up being on both. It will just be enhanced on the Switch 2.
Correct.
Gen 10, at that point, the Switch 2 will be out for a year and 6 months because Gen 10 is going to come out in November. If they release Gen 10 solely on the Switch 2, then they consider it a completely separate entity to the Switch.
Here's where the magic lies, right? That the Pokemon Company will not exclusively release Pokemon Gen 10 exclusively on the Switch 2. It will be released for the Switch 1, and then an enhanced version will be released for the Switch 2.
I don't think so. I don't. I think Gen
There's
10
no
will
way.
be our... I do. Because I have a very strange feeling we are getting faithful remakes that will be on both. And then Gen 10, they're going to look and be like, a year out, boom, faithful remakes of Gen 5. This is essentially your 6-month warning. Go buy your Switch 2.
Then you would assume the only reason why we haven't had these Gen 5 remakes was because they were waiting for the announcement of the Switch 2 itself. I do want to back up a little bit. First of all, you're telling me that the Switch 2 is a Switch Pro in disguise.
I firmly believe
That's what I'm hearing.
That.
There's no way.
No. That is my
No
hot
way.
take. I firmly believe.
It is
no.
a full... No, it's a... Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Because, a lot of people had doubts on the name itself, Switch 2. Like, that's kind of a dumb name, but it's smart on the marketing cycle because everybody knows what the Switch is. It's their most successful product they've ever created in the console world. Why would they ever consider naming it,
I have a reason for why it's named the Switch 2 too. Or Switch 2 also.
Okay.
I completely understand that naming convention.
I'll hear you out for this one.
So before, Nintendo was releasing 2 consoles simultaneously. They had their handheld and they had their home console, like your TV console. We no longer have that anymore. So they are now on par with Sony and Microsoft. Their naming conventions have always been, Xbox 360, Xbox, Series S, Xbox One, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are now at the point where they feel they can keep up with them. So their naming convention is going to follow suit with that style, because it makes it seem like they're a quote unquote big boy company now. They're hanging with the big guys.
Yeah, marketing.
Do I think power wise that they are? No. Do I think that, would I sit there and you and I play Daisy? Would I sit there and think that my Switch 2, when I get it, and don't get me wrong, as much as I think it's a Switch Pro in disguise, I will 100% be pre-ordering it the day I can, and I will have a day one Switch 2. Because I'm a shill. I got nothing else for you.
And when
I understand that.
And when you get it and you hold it in your hands for the first time, I'm going to look you dead in the eyes and go, hey, that's a brand new console.
And then after I have it for a week, I'm going to look you dead in the eyes and go, I'm really enjoying Pro.
I just don't see it, man. I mean, the only thing that would convince me otherwise, we were both in the studio hashing it out, and I said, you know what? We actually don't know the time frame on when this Switch, quote unquote 2, was supposed to be released. If it was indeed supposed to be released a couple of years ago, it does make a little bit more sense to be calling it a Switch Pro. But you know what? At the end of the day, this is my opinion. No matter what it's called, Switch Pro, Switch 2, whatever it is, it's going to be an upgrade and a better version than the console that we have, but it's definitely going to be the same console, just hopefully a glorified version. Because at the end of the day, the Switch is such a successful product. And how do we know that? By the numbers of units sold. I mean, most people have 3 or 4 in their household, right? And so that is such a huge deal to me because, going with the naming product of Switch 2, it allows them to, obviously, they just keep it in the same family because it's still the same console. So I guess in a way, I do kind of agree with what you're insinuating, but it's a Switch 2, man. What can I say? I mean, it's a brand new console.
I mean, yeah, no, it's going to be marketed as a brand new console, and it's going to be demanded to be treated as such, which, you know what? It has every right to be, because it's going to have exclusive games. It's going to have...
You know what's not going to be an exclusive game? Gen 10 Pokemon. I'm calling it first.
I disagree. Actually, before we can tab it all you want. Before we talk about that, there is one thing I do want to talk about.
Okay, hit me.
Why are the Joy-Cons doubling as a mouse?
Why wouldn't they? Bro, it's genius. Oh my God, do you know how easy it would be to organize my boxes in Pokemon with a mouse?
Okay, but if they actually have that feature.
Yeah, why wouldn't? Well, I mean, that's rumored. It's apparently supposed to have a mouse feature on the.
I think that's why they were sliding across the floor or the desk.
And for anyone out there who has not seen it yet, I'm sure you have if you're watching this radio show. But go back and look. There are quote unquote old school mouse wires, not the Bluetooth kind nowadays that you kids are so into, but actual wires coming from the, what do you call them? The joystick handholds, the handles,
yep.
And they were sliding exactly like a mouse across a plane, and then bam, they connect to the Switch. I 100% believe it is going to be a mouse.
I do too, and I mean that feature alone is awesome if we have the, I guess, products that, I guess, take advantage of that feature because
I support it.
yeah,
I don't know we don't know. This is going to fall back into the specs, the rumored hardware on the Switch 2. This, and by the way, guys, we're not going to beat this subject over a dead horse because this is going to be covered by so many people out there in the world right now. But
yeah, the other reason we don't want to cover it, or I don't want to cover it super long-winded. We have no idea. Like, they gave us a 30-second video. We got a spoiler of what we can only assume is Mario Kart 9, and that was it. Like, then they said, cool, we'll see you in, on April 2nd, which is, I assume, when we're going to get the tech demos and all that. But
how pissed do you think Nintendo was? Do you think they were just that pissed off that the community knew about the Switch? They shouldn't be, because you know how long it took them to keep it under wraps in the first place?
I also have a hot take about this.
Oh, boy. I can't wait to hear this one. This is going to be another hour. Stay tuned, guys. We'll have about 3 more commercials coming your way. Right here on 99.9 Gimmighoul Radio. Don't you forget.
My hot take about this is the reason that I think the initial reveal trailer was going to be April 2nd. I think the company that was making off-brand, quote-unquote, Switch accessories spoiled that for them. And I am going to say that this is a trailer very much so like Legend ZA. It was a panic trailer. They know, just send it out. Because if you notice, a lot like ZA, the trailer didn't show us anything.
No, it really didn't.
It said a lot without saying anything at all.
Typical Nintendo. Which actually, I'm just kidding about that, because normally Nintendo's not like that when it comes to their promotional videos. It was very off the wall and oddball way of showing us. Yep. Here's a Switch 2. Everybody goes. They wake up the morning, because not only that, it was rumored the week before, like, hey guys, listen, did you guys hear? Switch 2 Thursday, be there. And it was like everybody knew. And I'm walking down the street the other day, and I hear somebody on the phone in their car, talking about it with their neighbor, and I'm like, shit, I guess just everybody knows.
Well, and that's the thing. It's very much the same thing with Legend ZA. They dropped that trailer in response to Palworld. We know that, you don't drop a trailer for a game and then never speak of it again for an entire year.
Yeah.
Unless it's in response to something else.
Yeah, and listen, I don't want to get off too off topic here. I do want to stress some frustrations around maybe the Pokemon community when it comes to the Switch 2 and the Pokemon franchise. They are so connected right now because we all truly believe, and this could be true, but we all believe that, oh guys, we're not going to get Pokemon news until they finally release the Switch 2. Well, guess what they did? Albeit a 20-second video they did. Now, what does that mean on the Pokemon side of things? In my opinion, I don't think it changes a whole lot. I really don't. I think Pokemon has their own agenda. I think they're going to follow their own guidelines. And at the end of the day, the Switch 2, hey guys, listen, I know Dan's not in the studio at the moment, so I'm going to say this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The Switch 2, in my opinion, was never really going to hold
Was never
Pokemon.
make or break.
No, it wasn't going to hold the Pokemon company up. Do you want to know why it wasn't going to hold the Pokemon company up? It's because they are developing these games, Pokemon ZA, as well as Gen 10, with the Switch we all know and love to be the very first OG Nintendo Switch console, not 2. Now, will that be coming? Absolutely. You can bet your bottom dollar that updates and enhanced versions of the Pokemon games, at least for Pokemon ZA, and for Gen 10 will be releasing on the Switch 2. They are not going to be exclusives. Pokemon Company is focusing on the Switch, the very first Switch, because that's where the money is at. That's where they're going to sell their games. That's where it all comes down to.
I disagree.
Not Switch 2 exclusive, high roller.
Can I tell you why I think you're wrong?
You may, but I'm going to tell you right now, and again, I mean this, bookmark it, save this, snip it. I don't care. Snip it right now. Come on, producer. Get over here. Get over here. I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be, Pokemon Gen 10 is not going to be an exclusive Switch 2 game. It will be released on the OG Switch and then enhanced.
Nope. This is why I'm gonna tell you I think that that's not the case. So when you look at Switch sales, it remarkably well when it first came out, even still with the different, issues with production and everything else. Did really well. What sold that console was Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Pokemon sells consoles. If Nintendo looks at Pokemon and says, we only want it for the Switch 2, here's why. If you announce, Pokemon Day either today, or not today, but like this year or next year, and saying Switch 2, don't put the Switch logo. If you just say Switch 2, every Pokemon fan is going to look at that and go, I have a year and 6 months to go buy a Switch. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to go buy a Switch.
But they're not going to do it. There's no way. They're not going to make that thing exclusive.
Money talks.
Yeah, money does talk. And you know where all the money's at? In the OG Switch family, baby. It's not in Switch 2. Not yet.
Nope. We will agree to disagree. And I'm hoping they announce it on Pokemon Day. Because if they announce it on Pokemon Day and we only see that Switch 2 logo, you're going to come on here and you're going to be like, I was wrong.
No, you know what? I'm gonna march my hind end down the street. I live close by to the radio show studio. I'm gonna walk through these doors, press record, and I'm gonna say, hey, guess what, Unseelie? Did you hear that Gen 10 is on both Switch platforms? Who would have thought? Not me. Oh, except it was me.
We will agree to disagree. We will,
Fine. Hey, listen. Hey, why don't you just come meet me in the back alley after the show and we'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah. You don't want that.
We're ready. We're ready for any fight. You know that. Me and my Talon Flame. Ooh, it's a good team. All right, Unseelie, take us into what you have next.
New Contramerc City, the region of Tavoria. We do have a new Pokemon professor. His name is Gray. He specializes in, I believe, shiny research, if I remember correctly.
Oh my God. He's so qualified, guys. Let me tell you something. Professor Gray, you may not have heard of him in the Pokemon community until now, but you will know his name, mark it, in a year, maybe in just a few months, because this dude does his research, his homework, he's super intelligent, and best of all, he's our city's very own Pokemon professor. The dude is a stud when it comes to shiny Pokemon research. And he has some very talented assistants with him. Unseelie, just for our listeners of the show, I'm looking over the skyline. I see all the cars whizzing by because I understand that they're listening to us right now. Tell our hooligans who Professor Gray is and what he's going to be doing within New Contramerc City.
Professor Gray is actually going to be heading up, whenever a new person comes into the city. Obviously, anytime you come into a new region for the Pokemon universe or a lot of any other types of, RPG style stuff, you obviously meet up with the professor. And, well, what does the professor give you? He gives you your starter Pokemon. Well, evidently, because of the nature of his research, the starter Pokemon for New Contramerc City, I guess, are shiny.
Whoa. Let me just stop you right there. You're telling me that if any member that comes and joins in our city to become a citizen of New Contramerc City, an official Ghouligan within our Discord server, they get a shiny starter Pokemon out of the gate.
I believe it's one of their choice, yes. Where, we all started our Galar adventure over, and what did we all get?
We got a shiny starter, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, I've been soaking up the sun waves. Me and Silly just got back just a few hours ago from the Galar region, where we are all hanging out, having an awesome vacation, learning about their history, about how they view Pokemon battles, and it's awesome, man. We have such a fun time.
So the Galar vacation, restarting our adventure within the region of Galar. We spun a wheel to see which type that we would run, and we are only allowed to use Pokemon of that specific type. Currently unclaimed.
Your boy got still, and let me tell you, my starter, Beldum, is a rock solid Pokemon, guys. He is my buddy. I just caught a Meowth, and I just caught a Kling. The Kling Clank. I call him the Machine, because boy does he do the work. Awesome team.
Nice.
I'm having a fun time in Galar. I know we have to fly back over there after our show tonight, but dude, it is worth it. If you guys haven't been to the Galar region, highly recommend it. Hey, if you guys have trouble with plane tickets or pricing, come let us know. We'll get some studio funds together. We'll make sure you guys get out there with your own shiny starter, because it's worth it. I promise.
So we actually have 12 people out in the Galar region, studying, exploring, just on vacation, having fun. What's remaining though is surprisingly a lot of types that I thought were gonna get just sucked up real quick. It's normal, ghost, ice, grass, water, and bug.
Oh man, those are some fun types. If you can get yourself a hold of that type and then go have a nice, relaxing vacation over in Galar, and that's the best part of it, right? It's not super competitive. We're all out there having a good time, talking back and forth. I must have sent probably 3 or 4 letters to my citizens, letting them know how it's going, and they always write back. It's almost like having pen pals, but it's awesome. Highly recommended.
How would you say your Galar experiences so far?
I'm not gonna lie. I struggled early on, because with steel type Pokemon, you have to be very patient in raising them correctly, because they are a slow Pokemon type to get its potential out. So out in the wilderness, more specifically in the wild areas, we did a lot of training together, a lot of camping out, trying to understand one another, and it has paid off. We were able to get past our first gym leader. His name is Milo. The dude's jacked. I mean, I don't know what he does on his off time. I know he's a farmer from what I understood, but the dude must be lifting like 30 hay bales a day, if not more, by himself. I don't think he owns a tractor. I think he just does it with himself and his Pokemon, and the dude's just ripped. So I was scared shit. I was scared going into the stadium the first time and seeing this dude up close.
Some people didn't have an easy time.
Hey, listen, I just want to let everybody know I am no pushover. I'm a very decorated Hidden Power League trainer, as I have earned every gym badge and have came in top cuts in our tournaments both times. And what was that, Unseelie? Holiday Clash tournament?
You are the champion.
Exactly. So I'm very decorative. We made it through. We got by. I want to credit Meowth for the win. It was awesome. Yeah, fantastic. Unseelie, you said you weren't scared of the guy. Well, what did you do so differently from me if you just got past him like nothing?
I have fairy, so I resist grass. And I was lucky enough to get an Eevee early on, and I chose to catch it in the friend ball. and it evolved almost immediately. So I had a Sylveon going in like straight up.
You know what? I'm starting to rethink my strat. I think it was just the allergies. The allergies from the grass types got to me. It threw off my game plan. Still got the win. Made no mistake. I still won. Did it take all 3 of my mons to beat his 2? Sure. But you know what? I had some grass in my eyes. I was sneezing the whole time. I'm glad to be done with that gym, by the way, because it smelled of... And I love wilderness,
Hey.
but I'm used to the city. Come on now. I moved to the city like a few years ago, so I don't know. I just feel like I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to go across the... I heard there's a pretty nice bridge going over to the next town. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun.
I feel terrible. Another server member and actually CC Media Group and Gimmighoul Radio staff member, the Giant, he has not had the best experience at the second gym leader. He got past Nessa, but he's had a very hard time with Nessa. But again, he got fire for his type.
Yeah, listen, Nessa, I'm coming for you.
But I think right now we will go and we'll cut to a commercial.
Yeah, I think actually, I just got word that Professor Gray is live in the studio with us. I'm going to cut it over to him for a little bit and let him kind of talk about what he has going on. And yeah, Ghouligans, keep your ears open. Here's Professor Gray. We'll catch y'all right back here on 99.9 Gimmighoul Radio.
What's good, trainers? I'm Professor Gray, and I want to personally welcome you to New Contramerc City. Here in New Contramerc, we live in harmony alongside each other and also these mysterious creatures we call Pokemon, building our bonds each day through battles and friendly competition, through games, sports, music, or even research being my field. Here in the lab, I work alongside a brilliant team to study Pokemon, discover mysteries, and better understand these strange creatures and the world we both live in. Every week, we take a Pokemon to turn to the topic of focus and learn all there is to learn through our battle labs, shiny studies, and general history. We also have field trips planned to explore even more Poke-Earth and rediscover all there is about other regions, their Pokemon, and other mysterious phenomena that may occur in those regions. Not only that, but my team of researchers are working tirelessly to unravel the mysteries occurring in our own region, the Foria. The jungles and deserts that surround our vibrant city hold the clues to our region's past, and we work to bring those answers to the forefront. So come join us. I'll be waiting at the lab where we can discuss a starter you can take on your journey through the lush and expansive Foria region, where adventure, friendship, and fresh experiences awaits you. Oh yeah, and one more thing. Be sure to check out our City Center contest being hosted all over New Contramerc, where you can not only earn a prize, but a Ghouligans showcase spot in the next radio show. Also, check out our Galar vacation, where we are studying Galar culture and having a blast doing so. So if that's something that interests you, be sure you stop by the city. We'll be happy to have you be a part of our ever-expanding family.
And welcome back, Ghouligans.
That was awesome, Gray. Thank you so much.
Unseelie, take it away, brother. We bat.
After all of, with everything going on in the news, TikTok bans, the controversy over, the Switch 2 leaking, I've been starting to ask myself, is social media bad for the community? And now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, we use social media for, our servers, our Discord, communication. There's a lot of things that we wouldn't have if it wasn't for social media. But there's also a lot of things that we could do without in the social spaces.
When you say bad for the community, are you specifically talking about our Pokemon community?
Yes, initially I was thinking about it in the Pokemon community sphere. But definitely think it is an overarching problem that I'm wondering if too much social media is bad.
Content creators like ourselves, we are the new kids on the block. We put ourselves in this position because, A, we love what we do. We love the passion we put into it. We love the radio show we give to you guys, Ghouligans out there in the city. If we're anyone listening to us on the radio waves, again, thank you for being here. But we do this to ourselves. So
We do.
social media is a tool that we use to be able to promote ourselves and to be able to talk to you guys out there in the world. Is that a bad thing? I'm serious. Is it a bad thing for us to be able to connect with you guys in the world? And does it have negative effects to, let's say, the Pokemon community and the Pokemon content, and also video game community and the video game content that is put out nowadays? Unseelie, take me through your thoughts on this. How do you feel about social media and it affecting who we are? And maybe how it affects our listeners, our friends and family that also listen to us on their everyday lives, whether they go to the store, go to work, whatever they're doing.
I do think social media is a good platform for getting news out. Obviously, we wouldn't use it if it wasn't. I mean, in its core form, social media is awesome for disseminating news and, helping people connect and understand and, bringing people together. Where I think that it could be bad is look at leak culture, look at, perfect example. If social media wasn't as rampant and it wasn't, I guess, so oversaturated with stuff, would we have gotten the ZA trailer as soon as we did? Probably not. And people wouldn't because all of them releasing the ZA trailer last Pokemon Day did was, and you search Legend ZA and you will see millions of, X posts, Instagram posts, YouTube videos, TikTok videos being very critical to the Pokemon company about, you gave us a trailer, but you haven't said anything yet. Now, if you dig deeper, a lot of these are the same people that were complaining when Sword and Shield came out, when Scarlet and Violet came out, that, well, if Pokemon only had more time to, if they took more time to create a game, we wouldn't be complaining. But now they're taking more time to create a game, but we're still complaining. And you wouldn't see all of that if it wasn't for social media. Same thing with the Switch 2 leaks. They shadow dropped a trailer for a console because we already knew. We knew what was coming. We knew what it looked like, and like you said a week ago, we knew when the trailer was coming out for it. So again, would they have released that trailer if it didn't get leaked? Would they have released that trailer if it wasn't all over social media?
Do you think social media really came into play as far as our community and the gaming community about 4 or 5 years ago? I feel like is when it really started to ramp up, right? I think
we had this conversation last night with one of our producers, D-Sampy Dan, and one of the things that I had brought up was 6 years ago. If somebody would have looked at you and said, well, if you said, hey, what do you do for a job? Oh, I play video games on, Twitch, YouTube. But most people, I mean, maybe not us because we are in that, community sphere, but most people would look and go, oh, okay. So what's your plan for a real job? I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the general consensus.
No, absolutely.
All of a sudden, something about 5 years ago hit. We had a pandemic where people weren't allowed to leave their home. Well, what do people do when they can't leave their homes? They play video games, board games, they watch YouTube, they watch TV, and all of a sudden becoming, being a content creator, being a YouTuber, being a, I guess X or Twitter at that point, influencer, became an actual job and career. Well, the other thing that comes with that is the need for, I guess, clicks, the need for views, the need for, interaction. Well, what's a really good way to get interaction? Leaks, rumors. Okay, well, now you breach into that circle of, well, now all this stuff is getting spoiled. Now all this stuff is coming out to us, 6, 7, 8, 9 months to a year before we're supposed to see it. So people have all that time where it's not confirmed by the company to digest. And I mean, the minute you see a leak about something, whether it's true or not, somebody's gonna, other people are gonna keep posting it, talking about it. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. Well, you as a consumer, your thoughts and your opinions are gonna form based on that information. So when the actual product comes out, if it doesn't live up to that, well, now you're disappointed.
Let me present this to you as far as social media and how I see it affecting everyone's future, including ours, because we are media, whether we like it or not. I mean, we're in the world of media. Look at our radio tower. We're here to present the audience with fun knowledge, information, and to talk and to have a good time back and forth. And nowadays, people come to YouTube, they come to TikTok, they come to Instagram. This is what the people watch, listen to on a daily basis. What's happening is that there is starting to be a trend where now cable TV in everyone's homes is starting to dwindle down, as we know, and TV subscriptions, such as YouTube TV and so forth, they're getting a little bit more expensive, but for good reason. They have to be able to pay their staff, their products, their licensing to everything that they put on. However, you have platforms like YouTube and like, unfortunately, TikTok that will be banned in the United States very, very soon. These are outlets for people to listen to watch, to view as if it was TV back in 1922. This is our reality. And to pull it all together, is social media bad for the community? Absolutely, it can be very toxic and it can be a problem. I think we're starting to see a trend in specifically Pokemon communities where a lot of big names and a lot of people who have done this as passion projects, who have dove deep into even what we're doing, has started to slip away. And maybe they've been doing it for 10 years. Maybe they've been doing it for 15, 20 years. But at some point, everything does come to an end. Nothing lasts forever. And unfortunately, social media, especially now, because of the toxicity, because of the leaks, it's a lot harder to engage with your audience. We're now starting to see a little bit of a decline in content creators. Their passion's not there. They're starting to realize, is this really what I'm in it for? And is this really who I am? And they're losing that sense, and they know it. And I think that's aging their time span in the media space. Again, nothing lasts forever.
100%.
But we're seeing this decline quickly and quicker. And it's unfortunate because there are so many contents on Sealy out there that I love to watch and I love to see. And let's say I go and click on a video and one day they're gone and they're not there and they're nowhere to be found. That's a problem. Something's going on behind the scenes in our community and in the gaming community that we have to understand as a collective. We have to try to help each other with these issues, but also understand and point out the reality that, yeah, social media can be bad for us. We just have to be able to harness it in a healthy way. And as a radio host, I'm the one saying that, which is hilarious, but here we are.
I think, to your point, I think the decline in content creators, it's a lot of people that have been doing it for a while. And it's not that they're losing the passion for like the games or the content that they're creating. They just don't want to deal with, the social media aspect of it. They don't want to keep, dealing with the algorithms. They don't want to keep dealing with, well, if I don't get a video out or I don't get a post out, in this time period, well, then I am set back a whole, another 3 months or, 6 months or a year, depending on, how long it takes for that video to come out. And I think that pressure, and that's the one thing, like we kind of touched on it last week a little bit, where I don't think you and I fully realized how much work goes into something like this. It's essentially a second job.
And I treat it as such. Like, don't get me wrong. As much as I treat it as a passion project, for keeping the lights on here in our studio, we have an amazing team with our CC Media Group. I'm gonna go ahead and flash their names in our studio right now. So in case you were able to peek in, you can see it on our billboard. These guys help keep us going because it is a grind. And anybody out there,
It really is.
and if you're listening right now and you're just a casual listener, it's true. I mean, it's a grind. You don't realize how much work goes into putting yourself and your content out there in the world for everybody to see. And I think in the Pokemon community specifically, it's now more than ever in this drought period, it's become apparent that, yeah, this is a lot of work to keep this going. When you have no information to go off of, it's hard to create
100%.
concepts. It's hard to create content when you have nothing. If your audience and yourself is based on a subject matter and that subject matter is not there, you're gonna have to create something. And that's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy. And a lot of us, myself included, Unseelie, you can attest to this. You know, we have kids, we have families, we have to prioritize our lives. You know, thank God we live so close to the studio. It's not so bad to where I have to travel, you know, by plane. I know I have been in the Galar region here recently, and that is a sacrifice we've been willing to make happen for you guys, of course. But listen, I do think it's probably an issue we're just going to have to deal with till the end of time. I think it's going to continue to grow and become even more of a problem. And I truly believe, I suspect we will have more like content creator drop-offs in the next 4 or 5 years. It won't surprise me one bit. And it's going to be sad because I love everyone out there in the community. And my heart goes to you guys because you guys make this happen.
I definitely think we're going to be going back to this in the next 6 months to a year. I think something's going to happen or some topic's going to come up where we will end up revisiting this just due to the nature of social media. And
Absolutely.
I don't think social media in itself is innately bad. And I 100% do not think the community is these communities are innately bad. I just think that when you have that much content that is out there to consume and to judge, and that is the big key word, the judging aspect of it, I think, is where a lot of the problems come in. And it's like you said, there's no content out there for us to discuss, so we now have to create our own content. And a lot of people have been adapting very well. But I think others have taken a look and gone, you know, we haven't had anything for almost a year. Is this really still, do I still want to keep doing this? Because like you said, that do content creation have families. They have jobs outside of content creation. It's a lot to juggle. And this is outside of content creation. Just the way the world has changed in the past 4 years is wild. And it's only going to change even more.
You are 100% right, Unseelie. And, now more than ever in these past 4 years to present day, we have seen a boom in Pokemon content within the social media space. I think we're starting to realize, hey, there are some issues here, but we can find ways to fix them. Listen, guys, Gimmighoul Radio, as far as me and Unseelie and our producers know of, we are not going anywhere.
100%.
We'll catch y'all right after this to finish up our day. Let's go.
Boom.
From the heart of Contramerc, wild and free, Gimmighoul Radio sets you up so breezy. Gaming news hot off the press so fine, Pokemon battles where the legends shine. Controllers buzz, lights flash, oh what a show, in a city where the neon dreams flow. Pixelated stories and quests untold, adventures in a world that never gets old. Gimmighoul Radio, come hear the call. New Contramerc City where players stand tall. From grinding levels to catching them all, in the Pixel Kingdom we have a ball. Level up, power up, listen to the beat. From the latest cheats to the rarest feats, we bring the buzz to your screen and ears. Gimmighoul in your headphones, cheers. Unplug, relax, hear the gaming news. From consoles to cards, we got the clues. Ride in the waves of electric hues. Stay tuned in, you got nothing to lose. Gimmighoul Radio, come hear the call. New Contramerc City where players stand tall. From grinding levels to catching them all, in the Pixel Kingdom we have a ball. Unplug, relax, hear the gaming news. From consoles to cards, we got the clues. Riding the waves of electric hues. Stay tuned in, you got nothing to lose. Gimmighoul Radio, come hear the call. New Contramerc City where players stand tall. From grinding levels to catching them all, in the Pixel Kingdom we have a ball.
So we're going to go back, and last week we talked about a riddle, and this is going to be a weekly segment. I'm sure the slides will be up and, the billboards will be flashing. We did have a winner for the shiny from last week's riddle, and funny enough, it was Gimmighoul. That was our Pokemon. Somebody won it. His name, at least in most of the social spaces that we, interact with him, and in the city, his name is X. Congrats, X. Awesome job. You were so quick with that riddle answer.
He's an official Ghouligan, by the way, guys. He is a part of New Contramerc City. I bump into him at the train station half the time. Such a cool dude, guys. If you don't know who X Champion is, go check him out. Awesome dude. He won our riddle last week, so let's give it up for X. What did he win again on Saley with that riddle?
A shiny Gimmighoul.
Oh, beautiful.
So, again, I'm going to go over the rules again, and then we'll get into the riddle for this week. So again, riddle rules. You must be the first correct comment in the YouTube comments. Must be a member of the Gimmighoul Radio Discord server. You may not be a GGR staff member or a CC Media Group staff member. Sorry guys, gotta keep it fair. So, good luck, and here's your riddle. Once champion of the skies, this bladed beast becomes prey to an unlikely foe. Again, be the first to comment in the YouTube comments to let us know what you think that is, and the first correct answer will be getting a shiny version of that Pokemon from, I believe it is being either bred or caught by our very own Professor Gray. Last week we did have a Pokemon Spotlight. It was Goldango for competitive. This week, in honor of our Galar vacation, we chose for the Pokemon Spotlight that Evan graciously built up for us, Zacian. So the first build we have here is I believe it's a Terra ground type build. It is Zacian with the Rusted Sword. Ability is Intrepid Sword. Terra type is ground. And your nature that you're going to be looking at there is Jolly. Your EV spread is 92 HP, 252 attack, 4 defense, 4 special defense, and 156 speed. And then it's got the moves Behemoth Blade, Play Rough, Terra Blast, and Protect. I don't think it's changed, but do remember, I believe is it any steel type move will become Behemoth Blade with the Rusted Sword on? I think that's how Zacian works.
I believe so. I mean, I'll have to go back and think my battle notes, but yes.
But I think most builds run like Ironhead or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but if I am, I apologize. I don't use Zacian in Reg G, so...
Listen, Zacian, this was an awesome VGC build from our very own back-to-back Two Fisher Evan from the Toronto Regionals. Listen, Zacian is a dog. That Pokemon will put in some work for you guys on Reg G. Try it out. You know, you guys should be able to see it on screen right now from our studio. A hell of a month. Let's just put it that way.
And not to mention, time of recording, not time of obviously, by the time it goes out, the Birmingham, UK regionals will be over. I will not be surprised if this Pokemon does not show up in some form at the UK regionals.
Yeah, be on the lookout. I would be very surprised if it doesn't see any kind of VGC competitive action this weekend. Sound off in the comments below if we're wrong, but I feel like we're going to be right because we got our boy, the back-to-back Two Fisher Evan. The dude's a monster. He's giving you the builds directly from Gimmighoul Radio. The dude's a dog. Let's go.
Okay, and then our second Zacian spotlight is, again, item, Rusted Sword, ability, Intrepid Sword. Terra type this time is Fire. It is EVs, 108 HP, 212 attack, 4 defense, 4 special defense, 180 speed. This time the nature's Adamant. And again, you're going to see a couple, repeat moves. You got the Behemoth Blade and the Protect, but this time you now have Sacred Sword and Sword Stand.
Beautiful. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff, Evan. You make us proud. We cheer for you every time you go on the stage in any kind of regional or tournament. So, guys, be sure to give it up for Evan and Jarp for all the riddles and VGC builds we present to you. Presented by our very own CC Media Group right here on 99.9 Gimmighoul Radio. Unseelie, I think you have a battle to go to. I have some very late night snacks I need to go down the street and grab. What else do we have for our fantastic listeners in New Contramerc City and beyond?
Getting late here. I do see Dan's head bobbing through the producer's booth.
God, why is it always Dan coming in around this time? He's always...
So I did task Grim with trying to distract him this time. It doesn't look like it worked.
Listen, y'all, we appreciate y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us on all our social media platforms. We are Gimmighoul Radio at Gimmighoul Radio. Credits will be rolling with all of our amazing CC Media Group talented members and the citizens of New Contramerc City. All of our Ghouligans, we appreciate y'all. Everybody have a good night. Stay safe out in the city. Stay safe in all your travels. Let's get out of here, Unseelie.
Bye!